Meghan Markle's reaction to recent comments by Tina Brown highlights her deep-seated challenges with public criticism and the struggle to secure a positive image post-monarchy. Brown, an authoritative voice with direct connections to Princess Diana, recently described Meghan's strategies as a disaster on a podcast. This cutting remark reportedly left Meghan both distressed and angered, particularly because of her admiration for Brown's work and her noted links to Diana, a figure whom Meghan has often looked up to and modeled herself after. Meghan's narrative has long intertwined with that of Princess Diana, whether through fashion, public gestures, or her shared perception as an outsider within the royal institution. Prince Harry has openly supported these parallels, further rooting Meghan's public image in his late mother's legacy. However, Brown's comments have deepened a sense of discontent for Meghan, highlighting an issue that has persistently shadowed her: perceived failures in transitioning from royal life to independent public figure and entrepreneur. This episode adds another layer to a series of public relations struggles for Meghan, who has faced significant challenges in her post-royal life. Reports over the years have painted her as someone who reacts sharply to criticism, which has only intensified following claims of workplace bullying during her time at Kensington Palace. These accusations, which Meghan and her representatives have denied, have fed into an ongoing narrative that portrays her as unable to endure the rigors of public life without defensiveness or controversy. Tina Brown's remarks are especially impactful given her status as a seasoned commentator and her association with the late Diana, whose struggles within the royal family echo Meghan's own grievances. This connection stings particularly because it suggests a betrayal of sorts from someone Meghan might have perceived as an ally or, at the very least, someone with a sympathetic view of royal outsiders. Instead, Brown's critique highlights what she sees as critical missteps in Meghan's strategies. Missteps that have, in Brown's view, limited Meghan's potential impact and led to diminished credibility. This public rebuke by Brown coincides with a moment where Meghan's media image has been under a particularly harsh spotlight. Allegations of bullying, reports questioning the authenticity of her various initiatives, and her perceived attempts to reclaim relevancy through lavish appearances or high-profile speeches have all contributed to the challenges she faces in shaping her public persona. The narrative often put forth is that Meghan's relentless drive for control over her story sometimes backfires, painting her in a light that many perceive as insincere or opportunistic. A notable example illustrating Meghan's attempts to navigate public criticism involves her venture into entrepreneurship with her lifestyle brand. Critics were quick to pounce when early efforts appeared rocky. Rumors circulated that Meghan's flagship product was misleadingly promoted, with claims that she repackaged goods rather than producing them herself, leading to a wave of social media mockery and skepticism. Such moments fuel public perception that she struggles to execute plans effectively, despite the backing of significant financial and media resources. Another major stumbling block was her and Harry's participation in exclusive events, or attempts thereof, which frequently ended with pointed critiques. An incident at the G9 Venture Summit in the Hamptons, meant to elevate her new brand, spiraled into a fiasco. Reports described Meghan as appearing unprepared and defensive when faced with tough questions from influential attendees. This event, which could have strengthened her image as a capable entrepreneur, instead underscored doubts about her ability to handle public challenges without faltering. Tina Brown's scathing assessment arrives amidst these broader controversies, serving as a stark reminder of the fine line Meghan must walk between seeking attention for positive endeavors and falling into a cycle of negative press. Even her supporters acknowledge that the scrutiny can be harsh, but critics argue that Meghan's repeated insistence on drawing attention to herself often invites backlash. This notion is compounded by the widespread belief that her public statements or charitable efforts sometimes lack authenticity. For Prince Harry, the situation presents a complex dynamic. His steadfast support for Meghan, including defending her choices and drawing connections between her and Diana, suggests a personal mission to uphold her reputation. However, critics argue that Harry's support sometimes veers into enabling behavior, contributing to the perception that Meghan's efforts to respond to negative feedback appear more like overreactions than sincere attempts to reconcile or adapt. What's particularly striking is how the couple's attempts to reclaim their narrative often conflict with the demands of public opinion. Meghan's defenders argue that she is unfairly targeted, facing disproportionate criticism compared to other public figures. However, detractors maintain that her calculated decisions, such as selecting moments to appear vulnerable or philanthropic, seem to lack genuine resonance. The accusations of strategic opportunism only grow louder when Meghan presents herself in high-cost attire at charity events, reinforcing an image detached from the average person's struggles. The situation reflects an ongoing challenge for Meghan Markle, balancing public admiration with an intense scrutiny that examines her every move. The narrative around her is further complicated by a mix of admiration for her boldness and disdain for her perceived lack of humility. Her critics argue that a sincere reinvention requires more than appearances. It demands vulnerability and a proven track record of achievements unencumbered by claims of insincerity or self-interest. In the shadow of Tina Brown's recent criticism, the path forward for Meghan and Harry will be pivotal. Their choice to step back from royal duties was meant to open a new chapter filled with autonomy and influence unshackled from palace rules. However, the ongoing struggle with criticism suggests that breaking free from the constraints of the royal family has introduced a different, albeit equally intense, set of challenges. Brown's words are not just an isolated critique, but a reflection of the high stakes in Meghan's journey to redefine herself. A journey where every perceived misstep reverberates across media channels and influences public perception.